Word, bro. Well, listen, my guy, Brock. I want to start off by saying I greatly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to sit and speak with me and on this platform to help change some lives, man. First off, how you doing, brother?
Man, I am spectacular, and I'm totally honored, dude. I'm totally honored. I'm making sure my phone doesn't go off. I'm honored to be around you. I'm honored to be in your presence, and just with everything going on in the world today, man, it's good that people can just talk.
No doubt, no doubt.
You know,
Likewise, brother. Likewise. Well, look,
yeah.
why don't we just start this and get moving, man? Go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right. Hey, my name is Brock Bevell. I just turned 49 years old on Saturday.
Hey,
Yeah,
happy
yeah.
belated, brother.
Yeah, it's cool. I've lived in Arizona most of my life, lived out of the country for a few years. I speak fluent Spanish, which is kind of lucky for a gringo like me. You know, I was blessed to live in South America in Paraguay for a few years, which gave me some cultural enrichment. You
Wow.
know, yeah, and living in Arizona is kind of a good place, man. This is where it kind of all happened for me. I came from a big family, 8 of us, 4 brothers, 4 sisters in the house. Um, Mom and dad, you know, just did the best they could.
Okay.
Oldest sister, it was almost like 2 families. So it was girl, boy, 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 and then kind of the rest of the kids came through. So mom and dad were real hands on with us, hands off with the rest of the kids. If
Right.
that makes any sense, because there's a big time age gap, 20 something years between the oldest and the youngest.
Wow.
Yeah, raised super Christian. I was
Okay.
raised in the LDS church, and so church every Sunday, activities during the week, and I think that kind of, and I hope it doesn't come across wrong, but I kind of believe that's why when I had a chance to be a little bit different and to get into law enforcement and to work undercover, I flourished in it because I wanted to grow my hair out, I wanted to grab that beard, I wanted to get earrings, I think I wanted to go as far south of where I was. Make sense?
Yeah, nah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
Makes
make
perfect
to
sense.
give me like some freedom and have an opportunity just to be different because I felt like I was really, though I loved it and I loved the structure, I felt like I wanted to venture out and see a little bit different.
Right. And that, look, I completely understand that, man. And that's why we're about to dive into this conversation tonight, man, because our differences are something that also brought us together.
Yeah.
So let's break it down, man. You had a big family. What did life look like for you growing up?
You know, it's hard, man, because I'm still pretty close with my family, and to say that I had it's weird, man. Like, it's hard for me to say I didn't have a great childhood because I did, but it was filled with trauma.
Okay.
Looking back, right? As a youngster, it was just normal. I had an oldest sister who was super undiagnosed bipolar. So she was either trying to stab you and run around and cut you,
Mhm.
or she was like the most sweetest, loving individual you could ever meet.
Okay.
But there was never an in between.
It's
You
one
know,
or the other.
it was one or the other,
Oh,
Satan
man.
or God. You know what I mean? It was like woo,
No doubt.
and and so that was hard.
Mhm.
There was some sexual abuse that went on in my life early on. There
Mhm.
was some sexual abuse that went on with one of my siblings, with somebody outside of the home.
Mhm.
So, like, as structured as we were, there was a lot of outside influences that were coming into our home as well,
Okay.
right? And so, at an early age, I became very manipulative. I became a super good liar. I became very good at hiding and masking emotions,
Mhm.
right? And so I love my childhood. My parents, I know they loved me. They did the best they could with 8 of us to try
Right.
to spread the love around. But it was looking back at it now, I'm like, ooh, it was some hard days, bro.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah, nah, dude, I get it. I get it. But we all say it, man. Hindsight is 20/20, right?
yeah,
Yeah, you took us through that. We are here to talk about addiction. And I know that your story, like, I really don't know. I didn't dive into it too much. I just read around the website. So I'm here to learn. And this is, why I do this. Like, everybody that I've interviewed so far, I don't know much. So it's genuine, like, me learning and building another connection.
No,
So
man, that's props to you though, because that's, in my opinion, that's the best way to do it.
yeah, for sure, man. Is I like building these organic relationships, right? So I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to learn, and man, as this gets out to inspire somebody who are in these moments and will get some strength and power from your story. So when did you notice, right, that your addiction started to take place? Like, at what moment did you realize, or just take me through early addiction, like what it was like?
Yeah.
You grew up, and then
Well, I gotta preface it because I'm gonna have you put a seatbelt on. You know what I mean? I'm gonna preface
hold
you a
on.
lot of, because metaphorically you got to get a seatbelt on, because a lot of times, man, we share these stories and then you're just like, what do I
Yeah,
do with it? And you
right.
can't process it. It's almost like I got PTSD from other people's story, you
Right.
know. But what's interesting, man, I remember my first moments with addiction was when I was 8 years old. I went out with my brother to deliver or to throw the trash out. So back in Scottsdale, where I live, we had a backyard and then a big alley. And in this alley, we had these big trash cans. The garbage man would come through and you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But someone had put the trash was full, and someone put a box of Playboy magazines on top.
Oh shit.
Okay. Yeah. So I remember going out there and I picked up one. I'm thinking it's Sports Illustrated. And my brother picks up one and he looks at it and he just tosses it. He knew what it was. He was 2 years older than me. He was more mature. But I remember the moment that I saw it, man. I was like enamored by it. I was fixated on that picture. And you remember Playboy magazines? They had like
Yeah.
a hundred articles, and they were selling things and like 4 pictures of pornography, you know?
Right,
And,
right.
you remember back in the day how it was,
Yeah.
not like they are today. It's totally different. But
Mhm.
you had to really, but I just happened to open up and there it was. And I'm like, what? And I was stuck on it because I remember my brother's like, no, hey, put this away. Let's go, man. We don't do this stuff. I'm like, okay, all right. So we back inside, but now, people that are in addiction understand how you can't turn it off. Like that car's going, and now I got to put that thing in reverse and drive.
Right. There's no
I got to
off.
go. So I had, oh man, I had no out. So I did a little covert ops, snuck around, waited for everybody to be gone, snuck in the backyard, grabbed 2 magazines because I knew my bro was going to check on me.
Mhm.
Because I didn't know if he like put him the right way. He knew it was on top. He counter, but I didn't want to get popped. So I grabbed these 2 magazines and went in the alleyway, put them we used to deliver papers. So I put them in a bag, right? I was thinking, man, and I put them under a tree. And that right there, man, became my initial addiction was pornography.
Oh
And
wow.
we talk about how addiction works. Like 2 people can be in a bar together, right? And one guy can drink a beer, he can drive home, he can go to sleep and wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, hit the gym, go to work, and nothing.
Right.
But then how the mind works on other people, they drink a beer, now they drink 15 beers, they drive home intoxicated. This is a different story. They don't wake up the next day, they end up in jail, they end up just because of the way the addiction works on their brain. So that's what I want people to understand is when I saw pornography, my brain just catapulted.
Mhm.
So I really got into early on as a youngster, 8 years old, the addiction cycle of pornography, masturbation, guilt, shame, remorse. I'm unworthy. Kind of took this big role in my life.
Mm.
Right. And so it was
Right.
hard because here I am living this dual life where I'm supposed to be this really strong child, this
Right.
really religious person, but I know I'm checking out this stuff I shouldn't be looking at. It's leading to masturbation, which in my mind always led to shame.
Mhm.
Right. I mean, let's be real. I mean, I'm not going to hide anything. I'm going to tell you the truth, but
Word.
that's what it was. And so I mean, come on, man. I was sexually abused at 8 years old. And then it
Mhm.
just started it started steamrolling where it was a huge effect in my life. Now, with that said, I got on with the police department, went on a mission, came home, went to college, played college football at Eastern Arizona, and just wanted to be a police officer all my life. You know, I was at a point in my life where I could test for it. So I moved to Phoenix, moved down to Mason, tested for it, and got on the first chance.
Oh,
There
nice.
was 200, 500 something officers, people that tested. They were taking 5 or 7 positions. I still don't remember. It was a long time, 1997.
Oh,
That
man,
tells
it's a
you a
minute
little bit.
ago. I get it.
Yeah,
I
right.
get it.
Right. So it was a couple days ago. I just don't want to be misleading or anything. But
It's
I
all good.
remember testing, dude. I tested and I flourished on it. You know, I was an athlete, man. So those physical tests made sense to me. I understood them, got on. Now, loved being a cop. Hated going call to call. Like when you're in patrol, man, you are at the mercy of dispatch. Call comes out, neighbor dispute, neighbor's dog poops in their lawn. They're calling the police on it. So here I am going to a neighbor dispute, talking to neighbors saying, can you please keep your, I mean, like things that you think you should be able to handle.
Right.
Police are responding to, you know, and the calls. I mean, I had some crazy calls. I saw crazy deaths and traffic accidents. But during my time, I remember I became fueled by drugs. I wanted to arrest everybody I could who was under the influence. I wanted to arrest every doper out there because I saw what it had done to people. I saw these traffic accidents where these kids get burned in a car, or mom and dad die and the kids left alone. Or
man.
You walk into these crack houses and there's a little kid in the corner. Or one of the worst ones I did was, it was these 2 boys had left high school. During lunch, they were at the house dealing rock cocaine, right? They were supposed to be watching their 2-year-old brother. We come in, they hide the dope in their brother's diaper, right? We're searching for the drugs. Long story short, this baby ingests this, right? So it's like, man, so I'm like, what is this about this drug and alcohol? And so I kind of had my own fuel for it. And then fast forward to about, it was December 27th. It was during a DUI task force. Man flees from the police. Ends up taking him on an 18-mile pursuit, comes back into town, drives into a cul-de-sac, and as he turns around, we come in, 3 of us, we felony traffic stop him, just like you see on the TV. I'm the middle car. I knew this guy was drinking. I knew this guy was heavily intoxicated. And he got out of his car, and we did everything right. As police officers, we did everything we could have. I mean, we all know there's bad cops out there. We all know there's bad shootings. We all know there's things that happen. But on this occasion, it was textbook. We pepper sprayed him. We beanbagged him. The canine bit him. And it just, nothing was working. He got back into his truck, drove at us. I had to shoot him, okay, and shot and killed him. And I remember as we went over there and pulled this guy out, and his face is, you know, because I shot him through the windshield, man. It was a face shot. And as he's laying there, I'm thinking, damn, dude, this is 2 days after Christmas, man. And I had to take your life. Like, I knew he had a sister because she was a dispatcher in Phoenix, a sister agency. And I was like, man, who is this guy? And what is this alcohol, man? Like, how does it fuel people? And a couple months later, I remember I had to go to a deposition on my shooting. Mom, dad, sister, their attorney, me and my attorney in a room together. And after the depo, you know, you share everything that happened, what you saw, what the smell like, everything, like, right? And mom's like, hey, deposition's over. Off the record, can I ask you a question? And I'm thinking, you know, I'm a father. I want to know. I want to help this lady grieve. And she asked me, she says, Officer Bevell, if you were to do it again, would you kill my son? Oh, man, that, like, it struck me, right? And I remember in my head thinking, where the hell is his ownership?
Right. The
Why,
accountability piece.
where's his ownership to this? Why did he get in the pursuit? Why did he do this? And I couldn't process it, right? So that happened. And then in April, the next year, so a few months later, I'll make this quick because I know you're kind of tossed for time, but
Do your thing, bro.
We worked the prostitutes in the area I was working with as confidential informants.
Mhm.
Prostitutes knew everything. Street level crimes. You want to know who's dealing. You want to know anything. Go to a prostitute.
Just like the
give you-
movies.
Just like the movies. They know what's going on. Yeah, because they're in it, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones taking the Johns to buy the dope. Oh, okay, so we're gonna arrest this girl because she had a warrant, and she's like, "Hey, man, can we do a trade? If I give you information on a drug deal that's about to go down, will you let me walk on this? Because what you're gonna get into is bigger than a misdemeanor warrant."
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Yeah, what is it?" And she goes, "Hey, I got information from a drug dealer that a lady that's going to be driving a truck is going to pull up right here, right across the street, and she's going to bring her 12-year-old daughter to the scene. She is going to trade her 12-year-old daughter for drugs for a time." Okay. So the drug dealers gets the girl. They're going to go have sex. Mom's going to go use. They're going to reunite, and it's going to act like nothing happened. And I'm like, bigger? That's way bigger than you on a misdemeanor warrant. And so we set up on it.
Mhm.
Lo and behold, man, and I'm telling you, street level information is never on. And we always are dealing with doper standard time.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Like you tell me 5 o'clock, 9 o'clock tonight, I'm buying dope from you.
Yeah,
You know that. And
no
I got to
doubt.
make 75 phone calls. I got to change the venue 8 times.
Right.
I mean, everybody out there's like, yep,
Yeah.
he knows what's up. He knows what
Definitely
time it is.
understand.
So the truck pulls in, and here comes the doper who we knew riding his bike, comes up to the passenger side, makes contact with the girl. The door gets clicked. He's ready to go, and we come in and make a stop.
Mhm.
Okay. We arrest him. We detain him,
Mhm.
we detain him, put him in handcuffs. We're watching him. I'm talking to the driver. She's like, "No, I'm just a victim. This guy came up. He was trying to take my daughter for what? I don't know what was going on." She's making the story up.
Yeah.
But I look down on the floorboard because I'm looking in her truck, and I see a baggie of dope.
Ah.
So I look at my partner. I'm like, "Hey, 15, which is code for we're going to make an arrest."
Mhm.
But I wanted him to get a visual. I wanted him to see it.
Mhm.
So he came around, and he's standing there. So I'm at the back tire, and I'm looking at the suspect. I'm looking at the daughter, and my partner's at the front, at the driver's side.
Uh-huh.
So we're kind of cattywampus. He's in the front. I'm in the back, both right in front of the tires. And I hear her escalate, and she says, "F this," and threw that truck into reverse. And when she did, she kind of turned her truck like that and ran over my partner.
Oh.
He gets run over. His back gets run over. My right foot gets caught under the tire, and I go to turn and get out of the way, and my ankle just breaks. And then I take a step to catch myself, and she hits me right in the kneecap. My kneecap just boom, right? What was crazy was I was freaking mad. I was so mad. Like, I didn't drop or nothing. I just like hobbled over, and I knew I was hurt,
Mhm.
but the adrenaline was
Yeah,
going.
it was pumping. Yeah.
She reversed back, and she got her tires wedged on a little curb. So she's like, "Okay," she gave up, right? I'm like, "Dude, you had a car, you just ran us over." But I remember as I yanked her out of the car and arrested her, I'm thinking, man, I'm a dad. Okay, I have 4 daughters and a son.
Mhm.
I don't know where my mind would have to have turned to allow another man to take my daughter.
Mm.
This addiction thing is real. Now, I'm injured, multiple surgeries on my knee. I go in there, my doctor, about a week, surgery 2 or 3. He looks at me and goes, "Hey, Brock, guess what, man? You're a cop. You're never going to get hooked on this stuff. You're not going to become addicted." So for me, what does that tell me?
I'm good to go.
That's good to go. That's carte
Yeah.
blanche. Okay, man, here we go. So give me that stuff. And I started taking it, and I noticed that it dulled the pain. I noticed that it dulled the pain. My injuries didn't feel as severe, but now fast forward a couple of months, my surgeries weren't taking place. They weren't working. He had to make a decision. He sends paperwork into the city saying no longer fit for duty. He needs to be retired. So the day came, I'm sitting in front of this board of men who I worked with, who I'd bled with, who had been in foot pursuits and shootings and all kinds of stuff with. And they're sending me packing. They're like, hey, man, we love you. You're a good man, but you're not fit for duty. And I'm thinking, yes, I am. And I can still run. They're like, what happens if you jump a fence, you land wrong, blow your knee out? Your liability. What happens if you get pushed down a flight of stairs, you blow your knee out? Your liability. And I understood it. I did. I understood. I was like, I get it. But I remember walking out of that. They're like, you need to go turn your gear in tomorrow and you're medically retired. Now, you're still going to get paid. You get paid retirement for the rest of your life, but you can't come back here. So all those connections you made, all those people that you bled with, they're no longer a part of your life.
Damn.
And you understand clearly this I am statement, right? Right. We talk about it, these affirmations. I am powerful. I'm a father. I'm a husband, right? This is powerful. But for so long, I'm a cop. I'm an undercover cop. Right. And so that identity, man, just got stripped from me. And so in sobriety, we talk about these 4 areas of recovery: home, health, community, and purpose.
Right.
My health was in jeopardy. My community was gone. Right? Now this is just a disaster. HALT, right? Big 4 triggers, HALT, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Guess what? I'm angry, lonely, and tired, bro.
Right.
And so recipe for disaster, what happens to me? I start taking the opiates, man. I start self-medicating. It's killing both pains. It's killing the pain of my injury, but it's also taken this away. And it was the only thing that made me feel better. It was the only thing that made me feel normal. Okay.
Yeah. No, I definitely understand.
Yeah. So and what's crazy is people are like, how long did it last? Brother, it lasted 10 years.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it cost me my marriage. It cost me my kids. I have 5 kids, like I said. And I'm still putting the pieces back together. And for me, that's one of the hardest things. You want to ask what addiction takes from you? Everything.
100%.
Everything.
100%.
Yeah.
So look, the opioids, so it sounds like the addiction to the opioids lasted for 10 years, right? What was the U-turn moment where you looked yourself and said, man, enough is enough? Like how, you know what I'm saying? Like bring me to that
standing
space.
point.
Yeah.
That my moment. Standing point, man. I'm going to tell your listeners, because I know you got a lot of them. Biggest mistake in my recovery was where I had to take a stand. Okay, that's honest. I wake up in the morning. I usually have my opiates right next to me. Always 2 opiates with my glass of water. I'm prepared, so I don't have to feel anything. This morning I didn't prepare the night before, but I never had to chase opiates. That's what I need people to understand. Like because of my severity of injuries, my doctors were just scripting me, man. They were writing. I had a hand surgeon. I had a foot surgeon. A foot surgeon and a knee. And I just had whatever I needed. Right. So I walk into my bathroom and I open my cabinet and my pills are perfectly in place. They're written on how many oxys I had left, the strength of them. Right. And I took 2, drank water, and closed it. And when I closed that, the mirror shined behind me into my bedroom. And I'm like, oh man, you live in a crack house, dude. You've been in that place before. You've done search warrants on that. Your house looks like a crack house. It was dirty, hadn't been vacuumed, trash everywhere, man. And this was where my mistake was. I'm an A-type personality, man. I want to fight.
Mm-hmm.
I opened that cabinet up, opened every single bottle, and dumped them and flushed them.
Mm.
Then it set in. What did you do? Bro, what did you, like, if I could have scuba dived down those pipes to retrieve them, I was in it. Because I was stuck because I had kind of tried to wean myself off.
Mm-hmm.
I knew what was coming. But I remember I'm thinking to myself, okay, I went through the whole transition in my, okay, can I get more pills? No, man, you just got to refill, right? And at the same time, I was committing crimes, man. My best friend, I'm giving him the extra opiates. Mm-hmm. He's taking them down, selling them for me, and bringing me the cash.
Right.
Listen, I'm an undercover cop. I mean, I had been retired now, but I knew the game. Like, what are you doing, bro? What if you get caught?
Right.
I was so deep into it, man. I didn't care. Right.
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, you keep talking about it. When you gonna back it up? When are you gonna be done? Right? And there's a difference between being finished in recovery, and there's a difference between being done. We talk about, hey, I finished the test, or he finished the race. I finished washing your car. Mm-hmm. But what about being done? Being done means you're done. That's right. It. You're not picking back up. And I thought to myself, you know what? This is my standing point. Here we go. I'm going to take this. I'm going to ride this out as long as I can. So I fueled up, went down, got my water, got all the snacks I could, and brought them to the bathroom, and camped out, man, and set it up in the bathroom. And what was funny was, you'll understand this, and your listeners were, at day 3, I had crapped myself. I had urinated all over myself. I had thrown up. There was nothing left in my body. Right? I'm throwing up so violently that it feels like my bones are going to come out my mouth. Dang. Right? And I remember having this conversation, and I'm sure most of us have, like, hey, God, okay, listen, if you just let me out of here, I'm not going to go back to it. Just let me get through the night. Right? We've done that. But in the back of my mind, all I wanted was one pill to take the pain away. Mm-hmm. I even knew that if he let me out, I was going to go score. Right. I was finding it, man. But I heard him talk to me. He's like, you haven't even begun. And I'm just like, dude, here we go. No. Okay. I know, exactly. And so I laid back down, man, and hot water, cold water, freezing cold, hot, burning up, went through it. And day 7 days alone, by myself, realizing nobody is coming to save me. Nobody's coming. Nobody's kicking my door in, right? Like I'd done 1,000 times for other people. Nobody's coming. I had alienated everybody, and there was a moment of surrender, a moment of humbleness, saying, man, dude, it's time. And so at day 7, I looked up to God and said, hey, I'm not making a deal with you. I'm telling you, I have 2 options at this time. You can dispatch me. You can end my life, because like I'm laying on the floor. I remember like my face is in the bottom of the shower. And I'm like, just take me, right? Because I don't know if I could have lasted another minute, let alone another day. And I just said, hey, or let me change people. Let me take this story. Let me run with it. Let me see what I can do. Right. And it was like, we all know Hulk Hogan back in the day, right? When Hulk Hogan's in the ring and he's looking like he's dead, and he puts his arm up and it drops. Yeah. Puts his arm up again and it drops. And third time he's like, you remember like that power, man. Right. That's what it felt like. It totally felt like that the Hulk Hogan, like that power came back in me. And it was an immediate change, man. Immediate, like that power came back. I stood up and I walked out that bathroom. And it's been it's been 11 years, man, and I haven't gone back and touched it. Yeah. And like for me, I'm not a big time guy. I hate talking. Hey, how much time do you got? So, because guess what? When you're done, it don't matter if you got 1 day, if you got 2 hours, you got 13 years, you made it.
Right.
Right. And that's what I want everybody to understand. Listen, addiction, it's not a life sentence. It's not a terminal illness that you're dying from. Right. It's an injury.
Right.
Brain injury. Right. We can, it's just like PTSD, right? We're not dying from it, but you have to take a stand against it. You have to make that decision of listen, it's time to fight.
Right.
And if people think that overcoming addiction's easy, you haven't done it.
Yeah.
You haven't done it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why the price of admission to our club almost cost you the life, right?
No doubt.
And so that's what I'm passionate about, right? And man, there's so much that I hate to say this, but I feel blessed that I went through it.
Likewise, man. I'm the same way, bro. Like, I think I talked to you when we sat down and talked, man, that pain and experience, I found my purpose. So it sounds like, with everything that played out the way it did in your life, it's like, man, this is why. Like, now I know.
I'm sure God had another plan for me. I'm sure he did, but I'm going to tell you right now, he's using this plan.
Right.
He is. Like, I had to punt.
Go ahead. Bro.
I had to punt. I had to turn the ball over a little bit. I had to learn. I had to change the field a little bit.
Fumbles.
Oh, man. But
I like that.
Yeah, and so I think he adjusts with us. And I'm honored to do what I do now because of my story.
100%, man.
Yeah.
Listen, that was truly amazing. And I'm glad that I got to sit in here and be on the receiving end of that, because that was something that I needed to hear myself, man. So I know without a shadow of a doubt that people are really going to gravitate towards that story. Well, what do you got going on now, man? I see you moving and shaking in the summer, everything, man. Break it down.
Because I'm a retired police officer, I love to focus on first responders. I love to focus on military. And the reason is I understand that these men are putting in the battle. We're in a battle every day, all of us. And my goal is it's not just first responders, but I wanted to be a resource to men who can't pick up their lives for 60 to 90 days and go to rehab, right? It works, but the problem is, just like you, if you miss 60 to 90 days, you can't pay your bills.
Right.
So what I do when I'm like, hey, how do I close that gap? And so what I did is I ran a recovery program by myself for 5.5 years. Okay, with a brother that has since relapsed. But I took all the curriculum that I taught and I put it together, and I made the best curriculum, and I put together a 30-day challenge. And what I do is I take men on a 30-day ride, and I give them 30 days to meet me in the morning. They get a challenge. They work the challenge during the day. Tomorrow we show back up and we debrief the challenge. Okay. And then they meet with like-minded men. If they're veterans and law enforcement, I have a group for them. And then just the general population, I have a group. And so we just grind it out, man.
Okay.
And so it allows them to go to work, get the information, work the information without having to leave, without having to be a detriment in the home. Okay. So they still feel like, man, I'm getting my sobriety, but I'm still working it. And it's different because you've probably said it, you got to change your people, places, and things. And in my philosophy, in my life, that didn't work because wherever I went, there I was.
Right. My problem was me.
That was me. So I had to change me first. So it didn't matter if my friends were users. I didn't change. So I had to take that look in, and I had to change me first. And so that's why this Chase the Vase challenge is is allows men and women to go through it at their pace with the team, right? And we have a psychologist that kind of oversees it. And so it's just a different modality, if that makes sense.
No doubt. Nah, man, I thoroughly like it, dude. I might have to come out to Arizona and partake in one of these challenges, man.
Yeah, brother.
For
Come
sure.
on.
Well, how can people find you, man? Like what? Send them, give them all the down
Yeah.
wherever you are on the web. Like,
So, man, I'm totally blessed. I have a podcast. I have two podcasts.
okay.
My first one is my personal one. I actually had you, legendary, my boy right there,
Appreciate
J-Rod,
you, sir.
coming on. And so it's called Chase the Vase. That's the name of my business, Chase the Vase. And there's a cool philosophy. You can go to my website at chasethevase.com and read the story. It's about a World War I veteran. And basically this vase that we're chasing is whatever in life you're chasing. So for me, for the longest time, it was sobriety, right? And I wanted to be a faithful man. That was a vase that I was chasing, right? So we're always chasing something. And so the challenge is at chasethevasechallenge.com.
Okay.
Right. And so then I have a podcast called Agents of Recovery that I have a therapist with me, Blue Robinson, and Max Hall. He's a retired NFL football player that had a head injury and got into addiction pretty heavy. And so the three of us do that as well. So, and then I'm on Clubhouse with you, man. I'm with on Sundays, and you and I are probably going to start a Clubhouse hopefully soon.
Let's do that, man. Let's do that.
You know, and my thing is the more information we can provide people, right? I'm not a big AA guy because I didn't know about AA. I didn't understand it. I didn't. It wasn't my modality. It wasn't my mode of recovery.
Right.
But it's working for millions of people.
Right.
So if it works for you, don't change it, brother. You know, keep doing it.
No doubt.
But there's other people that need a higher power.
Mm-hmm.
They need a sponsorship. Whatever it is, they need EMDR. I don't know what you use, but I just want you to find the life sober.
Right.
You know?
No doubt.
Yeah. So that's what we're chasing, man.
All right, 100%, man. Look, again, I told you at the beginning, I'm going to tell you again now. I know that story is going to inspire many people because I'm hella pumped up and it's late. Like, this is where I should be ready to lay it down. But that was truly amazing. And I can't thank you enough, man, honestly, for taking the time out of your schedule with everything you got going on to sit and talk to me, brother. I greatly appreciate it, man.
Hey, to be honest with you, I see a lot of me in you.
Word.
I'm serious, man. Like I look at you and I know we're good-hearted people, man. And our mission is to help other men and women. And you're not grandiose. You're humble, and you're gonna change a lot of people's lives by doing that.
Dude, I greatly appreciate that, man. I'm gonna let you get back to the family. I saw you lounging in the bed.
Yes.
I'm going to put this out to the world, man. Brock, thank you so much, brother.
Bless, brother. Thank you.
No doubt.